allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll call the public hearing to order at 6:46 p.m. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Von Cricks,
Here.
Benedetti,
Here.
Cabawatan,
Present.
Hornbeck. Here. Perugi.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Rezepa.
Here.
Quorum present, Mayor Rezepa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. To read the notice here, we have a public hearing for the recommended city budget. A public hearing will be held by the City Council in the council chambers of Trenton City Hall, located at 2800 3rd Street, Trenton, Michigan, at 6:45 p.m. on Monday, April 21st, 2025, on the adoption of the recommended city budget for the fiscal year 2025 to 2026. The property millage rate proposed to be levied to support the recommended budget will be a subject of the hearing. Regular meeting will be held by the City Council immediately following the budget hearing on Monday, April 21st, to consider formal adoption of the 2025-2026 fiscal year budget. Public participation for the public hearing and regular meeting is available in person or virtual via Zoom. Copies of the recommended budget and the 3 preceding fiscal budgets are on file at the Trenton City Clerk's office and available from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and the City Library during regular business hours beginning April 15th, 2025 for examination by interested citizens and taxpayers. The recommended budget is also available for viewing on the city website at www.trentonmi.org. For more information, you can call us at the City Clerk's office at 734-675-8600. We'll have this opened up now. Oh, it was there. Did I hit just turn off? Okay. All right, we'll open up the public hearing. Go to anyone in person first, then those on the Zoom. And ask that anyone wishing to speak begin with their name and address. Direct all questions to me, and please limit their comments to 5 minutes. And just a reminder, this is just a public hearing for the budget portion, so we'll still have another opportunity for the full meeting public comment portion as well, too. Not seeing anyone for this part. Not seeing any on Zoom. Anyone from council have anything they'd like to add? Cool. Easy enough. Got all our talking out the last 2 meetings. So, any department heads have anything? Nope. All right. I will entertain a motion to adjourn then. To close the public hearing at 6:49 p.m. We'll get started in 10 more minutes.
Recording in progress.
All right, if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance. Alrighty, we'll call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock p.m. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Von Crooks.
Here.
Benedetti.
Present.
Cablewatten.
Present.
Hornbeck. Here. Perugi.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Rezeppa.
Here.
Quorum present, Mayor Rezeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First item we've got is the minute approval of the April 14th,
So moved.
2025 meeting.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. All right, we'll go to presentations and proclamations here. If we could get a motion to make this
So moved.
part of the regular meeting. We've got an update here from DCC Brownfield Program Manager John Diadana on the City of Trenton's portion of the EDA grant. So, Jasmine, John, thank you for being here, and we'll let you guys take it away.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. I'm wondering if we could pull up our presentation slides.
Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. Again, my name's Jasmine Dancy. I serve as the Economic Development Administrator for the Downriver Community Conference. So to give a little bit of background for those that aren't aware, anybody in the public, we're with the Downriver Community Conference, which has been serving this area for nearly 50 years. We have a pretty good range of different departments and services that help support all of the residents here downriver. We have actually 20 member communities, including Trenton here, but we go all the way west out to Romulus and Huron Township, all the way north from River Rouge all the way down to Gibraltar Rockwood area. So 20 communities here, but our largest department is really workforce development. Over the years, we've added other services, including weatherization, transportation. We have some other partnerships with helping support the veterans. But John's program, the Brownfield Redevelopment Program, has really been around since the late 1990s. So as part of that, and kind of spurring economic development and redevelopment in the area, we got involved around 2018 when DTE first notified kind of the communities and the area and the public that they were going to be closing their 2 coal-fired power plants, one in River Rouge and obviously one here in your community. And so at that time, we convened, had a consultant come in and do the first round of riverfront planning for redevelopment. And what was that, those closures, what was that really going to mean to our riverfront area? So because of those 2 coal plants, one in River Rouge, one in Trenton, it created this riverfront corridor along Jefferson Ave, along the Detroit riverfront, with the 5 communities there, including Ecorse, Riverview, and Wyandotte. And so with that first round of studies, in the consultant, we actually received some feedback that report that was finalized wasn't as community invested or involved as what the public wanted to see. It wasn't totally representative of all of these, opinions that our local people really wanted to be included. So, and then shortly thereafter, 2018, the world changed. We had the pandemic happen in 2020. So it was really a good opportunity to take a new look at things. So in 2021, we were really fortunate to be able to team up with the University of Michigan Economic Growth Institute to take another look at things, reconvene everybody. We created the Downriver Riverfront Strategy Team and went through a planning process this time that was really formalized and had representatives from all 5 communities. We also had local grassroots organizations, different levels of government, all the way up to the county, state, federal representatives. And so our strategy team for the riverfront is about 30 people, actually probably a little bit more than that. And we still meet 2 times a year. But that first round of planning was really intense for a few good months. And we came up with a whole strategy plan. It has 5 different primary objectives, all the different projects and the priorities underneath it. And so taking from that whole plan that included feedback from some of you here in this room as well, we were able to pull out 3 main projects and align them with an upcoming funding opportunity, which was through the Economic Development Administration. And that was in 2022. We applied for the Coal Communities Grant, and we were awarded that $1.6 million in 2022. So that was kind of the beginning of this new regional economic development office here for the Downriver region, trying to initially support the 5 riverfront communities. And that's when I came on board in late 2022. So here we are about 2.5 years later, and we are wrapping up this first Economic Development Administration grant. We were really thankful to receive some state funding last year so that our Department of Economic Development for the region will continue its operations. But we also have 2 other main goals along with that first EDA grant, which includes small business technical assistance, which another of our colleagues, Daryl Folks, he's our small business coordinator and is still out and doing outreach here for many of our small businesses, not just in the riverfront, but now open to all 20 member communities. And then the third goal of that Economic Development Administration grant was to, what we're going to be presenting on tonight, was to take a look at all of the some massive historic brownfield sites along the riverfront communities. We've identified 4 key main areas, which is what John's going to be talking to you guys about tonight. But as part of that whole brownfield strategy, there's these objectives here that you can take a look at. So it's to promote regional economic growth and diversification, foster new job creation and economic resilience, address ecological health and environmental justice concerns, and improve the quality of life for residents. So we had this kind of a 4-layered lens when we took a look at these brownfield sites and the potential for redevelopment on them. It's not just about cleaning up the environment. It's not just about creating tax base. It's not just about providing new recreational opportunities. It's all of those. So we were really trying to bring all of the different concerns and all together and find a way that we could actually make a difference and actually be able to have some momentum gained on these sites. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to John. He's our Brownfield Program Manager, and he's really been the one that's been primarily overseeing this specific study.
Thanks, Jasmine. Okay, so I'm going to be focusing on the brownfield portion of our EDA grant, and we first had to develop a team to look at these sites, and we had a RFP that went out to a number of consultants and consultant teams. And we came up with a very strong team, Stromberg Garrigan Associates, and they also had subcontractors, HR&A Advisors, Fishbeck, which is the environmental group. HR&A Advisors is marketing analysts and economic development analysts. Dell, which is she heads a community outreach team, and Sustainable Strategies DC, which is funding kind of strategy to fund some of the projects as they get towards finish with the planning and trying to move to implementation. And we had a few criteria that we really had for these team members as we were evaluating all of them. First of all, they had to be experienced in the brownfield area. We didn't want to reinvent the wheel because all the communities have done a number of planning studies and master plans. We weren't interested in just studying things to death. I mean, everybody's been studying things. So we wanted to build on what's already been done in the communities. We wanted to look at a holistic approach, which means we weren't just looking at cleanup, as Jasmine said, we weren't just looking at economic development, but we wanted to solve simultaneous problems if we could. So if there was a neighborhood flooding next to a brownfield site, how could we solve the flooding issue as we redevelop a brownfield and look at how things could stack up and work in everybody's favor if we needed new infrastructure as part of a brownfield site, different aspects so that you don't just put in a redevelopment project and then find out, well, we should have done this or we should have done that, we should have done more stormwater work, whatever. So we really focused our consultants on a holistic approach. And then we also wanted to focus on implementation, not just, again, a study. We wanted to have some solutions. This group is out of Pittsburgh, Stromberg Garrigan. They're nationally known. They do a lot of planning projects with EPA. They do a lot of regional work along riverfronts, just like this stretch of the 5 communities. They've worked on steel mills, power plants. They have a wealth of experience and very well connected in the brownfield arena. So our project objective was to establish a sustainable and integrated reuse strategy for underutilized properties in the riverfront corridor with specific emphasis on Jefferson Ave and the Detroit River corridor and the former power plant sites. So we're really focused in on a very, I wouldn't say small area, but narrow area along the riverfront. We had 4 parts to this study. We had public engagement. We had project drivers looking at demographics and market analysis findings, what would work, what wouldn't work in this area in each of the 5 communities. And these first 2, A and B, were really across all 5 of the communities. We were looking at both holistically and also individual communities. Not every community is exactly the same, but we were looking for things that would be collectively maybe would work for all 5 communities. Then we developed reuse strategies, which we're going to focus in on tonight, and we're working on fiscal impact considerations. How can we take our findings and implement some of these into reality and into projects? Excuse me. So public input, we had several parts of the public input. We first formed work groups in each community. So each community put together a group of anywhere from 4 to 12 people that would help advise us on some of the priorities for each community. We built, like I said, on the previous impacts or the previous master plans and other planning documents that were already there. So our consultants read every master plan, every study that's been done in the last 10 years. Like I said, not reinventing the wheel. We had an engagement process, and we had 4 major public open houses held in 2 rounds in 2024. Most of them were pretty well attended, I like to say. And we're looking again for some of the commonalities between the 5 communities if possible, but also some of the differences as well. And so we asked each of the communities different questions. We identified what the community assets were with each of the 5 communities, what's most needed in each community, and identified priorities in each of the communities. And most of the results said we want more riverfront access, jobs, recreation opportunities. It was pretty consistent throughout all 5 of the communities. So with the public input, this slide might be a little too hard to see, but the sites in yellow I'm going to highlight here are the 4 areas that we selected for further study. So this is this is River Rouge now, the DT power plant, and a little bit of the U.S. Steel plant that's been up for sale, and the River Rouge downtown. That was one study area. The second study area was an E-course, which was the Mill Street steel mill, and connecting that with the Dingle Park area down here at the end of Southfield. Then we have the Arkema site in Wyandotte and Riverview, and they both selected that site as their study area, the most important study area. And then, of course, we have Trenton here, and we have the DTE power plant and the Solutia chemical site as our other study area. And if you notice, each of the colors along the riverfront here, the green shows what the public access is now. The dashed lines are what we hope would have more public access. The purple is access that we can't have, at least in the near term, we see. If I go back one slide, in River Rouge you can see, or in E-course you see there's very little public access. Got a little bit in River Rouge here. Trenton actually enjoys way more public access than any of the other 4 communities. Concurrent with all of our public work that we did with the communities, we had our HRNA, our market analysis group. We're looking at demographics and what's happening in the marketplace. They looked at population, work age population, how things are happening, jobs and industry, what would work, what doesn't work, what kind of space is empty now, what are the areas of growth, is there enough talent in the area, a number of things, and I could show you. They had probably 25 slides on this. I didn't want to spend time looking at some of the details, but know that that group was very thorough in what they were looking at.
And John, if I could just add in too, just so you guys know that this is kind of the preliminary step to finalizing our formal reports. So we have all of that data documented. You will definitely be receiving copies of that because I know a lot of us enjoy seeing the data and the findings. And so just know for the sake of this presentation, we are not providing that in its entirety right now, but you will have access to it. The public will have access to it once these reports are finalized and published.
So the upshot from all the market analysis was that our best opportunities in the 5 communities are industrial, which is a high feasibility, and recreation, which is a medium. There was not much feasibility in the areas of residential, office, and retail. It doesn't mean that those can't work in some sites, but for the 4 sites we were looking at, these had very low probability of really working given the conditions today. So now I'm going to focus in on Trenton, the site-specific reuse plan for Trenton. So our consultants looked at a lot of the land uses around the DTE site and the former Solutia site. This drawing shows you a lot of the arterial streets, trails, different uses on different sites. It shows Elizabeth Park. If I use this pointer here. Elizabeth Park is here in the green, and then you've got the International Wildlife Refuge here, and you see Jefferson Ave is here, just to give you some context here. Oops, over here, and then it curves around. And we got the railroad cuts through here. This is Van Horn Road. This is from above, obviously, showing the Solutia Chemical Site, which is a little over 100 acres, and the DT Trenton Channel Plant, which is almost 100 acres. So using all of the data that's been proposed so far, our consultants then looked at, well, what kind of framework could we put in on this area? We're showing the white area, the energy, which is the battery storage area here that's going in now. Shows Van Horn, Grosse Seal Parkway. And it shows what could be in these areas. There's a lot of green space down here that's really not, given the environmental conditions, aren't really, it doesn't look like it's very accessible for putting buildings on. We've widened the riverfront here. We put in some roadways here, industrial, light industrial in the pink. So this is a concept, and if our consultants were here, they'd tell you that this is not how it's going to look. This is just a concept of what could work in this area, given the conditions and what they see both here and in other places. And this is another view showing how many square feet of building we might have of light industrial here. We've got quite a few buildings. That's the red here. We've got some retail here. We're showing fields and trails going along here. We've got a marina here. Using some of the green area here for stormwater and trails. So again, trying to make use of what we have, both using Mother Nature as much as possible and trying to fit in different types of uses that are consistent with what the community is looking for. And these are just some renderings that they sent out to us of what it might look like. And this axonometric view is just a 3D look of the same buildings, the same as the last one. It shows a little bit greater detail of what might be. You can see that they're showing some green roofs on buildings, maybe solar panels. There's a lot of different ways that things can be configured out here. And again, this is just a concept. You could take this whole Solutia area on both sides of the road, and if you just wanted one building in this area and one building in this side, you could do that. This is just looking at what the market might bear and what might be the most practical at this time. This shows some of the potential parcel subdivisions. Shows the vehicular circulation. When we first started looking at this, we were trying to, again, look at holistically. We're trying to look at how we could align Van Horn Road with the road to Grosse Seal Parkway. We're also trying to see a way that we could connect Elizabeth Park with the International Wildlife Refuge, which is kind of shown in this view here with the trail coming across. Got the Ironville Trail here along Jefferson. We're a little late on the lining Van Horn Road, unfortunately, with the battery plant going in. This shows some of the stormwater management strategy that we can use here in the green areas. That this is an old landfill in this area, which is not going to be very useful for anything, but we can use it for stormwater management. Then we looked at phasing. How could we look at some of the publicly led investments and how we might phase things in and start, first of all, along the riverfront here. Second phase, perhaps adding more up here, going up towards Elizabeth Park. Again, further enlarging this, adding this area in here along Trenton Creek. And then some more trails and that sort of thing, and really filling out the green space. And then you've got the Solutia property, which isn't shown on the slide, which could be, if we could wrestle that property away from its owner, whether it could be a first phase or it'd be the last phase or even concurrent with this phase. So our HRNA, our marketing group looked at what are the one-time job impacts and the long-time job impacts and property tax impacts for what might happen here. And this is an example here. It shows what it would cost for the site, what they're speculating would cost for the environmental for these areas here. I'm trying to read that. 31.5 million for site environmental. And the building costs are 98.2 million, so you have a total investment of $129.7 million for this schematic that's shown here. Again, looking at commercial and civic, which is green, they're color-coded. Light industrial, general industrial are virtually the same. Commercial and retail, we just have a couple of those in this area here. Construction jobs, putting this together, they're estimating 920 total construction jobs. And permanent jobs anywhere between 1,040 to 2,010 for this area. And it's showing the tax capture that you would get, the tax revenues that would come in each year for 30 years, building up from what it is now to $2.6 million in 2058. So you've got some steeper grades here that shows the phasing of the project. So the first phase might bring the taxes up to here, second phase, and so on. And the estimate is for $15.9 million of new net taxes over 30 years. I guess that's on top of what's the total without development, $15.7 million. With development, $31.6. That's how it comes up to 15.9. And of course, you have other taxes that will be generated with the state and for the city. You got income taxes, property taxes, Michigan business tax, and sales tax. So these are projects that will greatly impact the community. And with that, I'm going to take some questions. I'll start with anybody from the council that would have some questions, and then I can follow up with some of the community members.
Cool. So anyone from council want to get started? Councilman Perucci?
Yes. Seeing how this is a preliminary presentation, when is your target to have a final presentation?
We should have a final document within 2 months. We're just about finished. We're trying to wrap up. We've wrapped up Riverview, and we're wrapping up Wyandotte, and Trenton will be the next one, and then we'll have River Rouge and Ecorse. Yeah, Trenton's is. Yeah.
And then with Solutia and DTE, have you worked with them closely to help with the planning of this presentation as far as the data points?
We've worked with DTE, we've talked with them, we've had some meetings with them. They know what we're thinking and what the thoughts are here. We've gotten input from them on kind of some of their thoughts. I think that, all I can say is we're working with them. I think they're interested in seeing if they can, I think, broaden the size of the parcels that are around the plant, and maybe there's something that could happen, but, probably the biggest challenge we'll have on, three of the four properties is that they're in private hands, so we're working to find solutions with that. For instance, for the Riverview project and the Wyandotte project, we have the Arkema Chemical site. We're working with the State Land Bank to try and see if we can get that property into the land bank and get Arkema out of that project, so things could move forward there. There's possibility that something like that could work for some of the surrounding properties around the DT plant. We're looking at a lot of different possibilities there. As far as the solution, we've only had one very preliminary meeting a while back. We don't know where that one stands. They haven't been very communicative yet.
Okay. And the last question, Mayor. With the McLeod/Crown property, where is that in the conversation? Because it's not in part of this presentation. Have you been in conversation, or what are your thoughts?
Well, I know things are moving along there. We felt that site was not a great candidate for this particular project because it's a little further ahead. They've got the Superfund work going on. They've got an owner on the property that had purchased the property, and they're kind of doing their thing. We didn't feel like we could really influence much that was going on there at this point in time.
Well, I guess my question, not being a subject matter expert, but I mean, in the future, is there a consideration you might engage? Because all they can do is tell you no. I mean, I'm just curious.
From the brownfield, we're ready to work with any sort of developer that would like to purchase that property. We have cleanup money, we have assessment money. There are things that we can do to help a new developer, but we're not. Jim, you might want to say something.
Yeah. Actually, that property is being marketed by the Detroit Regional Partnership. We've actually had 4 different people look at the property, and Maroon family was actually engaged with 2 of them to redevelop that property in conjunction with their agreement with the Department of Justice, the EPA, and the County of Wayne Land Bank. So there are people looking at the site, and on a different side, with not the project, but on the economic development and the brownfield, we've been involved in that process.
All right, thank you for the explanation. I'm all set, Mayor. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Anyone else? Any questions? Anyone else? All right. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it.
Mayor, if I could, just any other takeaways. I know it's a lot of information to take in, but generally, if you have any feedback as far as the direction of this, we are in the process of finalizing it, but it looks like I want to make sure that you have the opportunity to express feedback, even if it's not questions.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons we wanted to come here is we want to make sure we didn't miss anything
Right.
too. Okay, if there's something that the community feels like our consultants didn't see something, we want to make sure that we give it a good, thorough understanding before we finalize these sites.
And Mayor, I just want to point out, John wore a suit for you out in Riverview, okay? So he recognized.
I am
this.
blushing, so I
Okay, so he
appreciate
wore a
it.
suit tonight.
Steven?
And
Thank
as
you. Go ahead, Councilwoman Beck.
Yep, I went back to slide 8 and I was looking at the priorities for this community, and I didn't see on any, I guess I didn't look carefully at the other communities, any desire for industrial. But I see a lot of industrial on your plan. Can you walk me through that thought process?
Yeah, well, there was expression by some of the work group leaders that jobs are needed. Also, one of the things our consultants want to make sure, which they bring to the table, is that they want to be able to work with communities and let them know, too, what they think won't work. Because a lot of times communities will say, we want this, but it doesn't, when you look at all the data, it just doesn't seem to work. Now, we've got a lot of contaminated issues that are going to be going on in those sites. That doesn't mean as we get more data in, there's going to have to be a lot of environmental work done yet. If the data suggested that part of that site is cleaner than others, perhaps some other use could be done, on some of those properties. But right now, with the information we have and what the market is really telling us right now, that's what they came up with.
It's also owner-operated.
Yeah. yeah, so the Solutia site is, got an owner yet that we have to deal with here and see if we can somehow get them to move that property forward or for us to gain control of that property.
Okay, so I did see that the recreation was at the medium level. What sort of opportunities would that include for recreation?
Well, we're looking at a lot of open use with trails, and there's some ball fields or sports fields that could be done down along the river. We could do an amphitheater. We looked at there. I think there's a lot of in looking at some of the data. Downriver is really lagging the area with recreational facilities like indoor recreation, sports complexes in terms of like climbing walls and trampoline.
Private development.
Private, public, perhaps.
Yeah.
So the data, if you saw some of the slides that show the real details, is that the downriver is really lagging behind, and so a lot of different recreational opportunities exist, I think, in that area.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Anyone else? Thank you guys again. Appreciate
Thank
all
you
the
so
work
much.
that you've put
Feel
into
free to
this so
contact
far.
us if you have any other afterthoughts or questions, and to the public as
And
well.
we'll stay around if you have questions, if the public has
Awesome.
questions.
We appreciate it very much. So we'll keep at it here. Okay, so we'll. Oh.
Some of your pictures kind of piqued my imagination a little bit. One thing recreation-wise, I mean, I think with the river there, another rowing club would be really great and create some synergy on rowing and that activity. It also is on the Solutia property, I think you were showing like pretty large-looking industrial type buildings. And I'm just wondering like what the thought is in terms of that there's gonna be transportation to and from those buildings. So how are you gonna get from there out to I-75 or wherever it's gonna need to go? And then also, is there any possibility of using Lake Erie from a water point of view to service those buildings?
I don't know if that last part was looked at, the last question, but we looked at all the transportation corridors. There'll have to be improvements made on those sorts of things too.
And I believe there is a smart bus line in the area along Jefferson as well.
So we were looking at, one of the things as we were going through this, we know that the Grosse Ile Bridge is got to be beefed up. We're looking at that intersection to try and straighten it from a safety perspective and transportation perspective. Those were all under consideration in terms of how we wanted to look at this area. But those are all things that would have to come into play, obviously. I mean, if you have a lot more traffic, you're going to have to plan for that traffic. So that's part of what we looked at.
Also, I like the amphitheater idea.
Okay, all right, okay. I like the rowing idea myself.
All right. Thank you
Thank you,
guys
Mayor.
again. All right, we'll go good segue here now into public comment regarding items on today's agenda. This portion of public comment we have is exclusively for items that are on today's agenda, and we'll have another opportunity for all other comment at the close of the meeting here. And as said, anyone wishing to speak, please begin with your name and address. Direct all questions through me, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes. We'll go to anyone in person first, then those on Zoom. Not seeing any hands here either. All right. Keep moving along. First thing that we have here under commissions, boards, committees, a resignation from Norbert Waganka from the Civic Commission, asking if I could get a motion to receive and place on file the letter and then send him a letter of appreciation for his service. So moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. All right, we've got 2 items under general here. First one I can take, the Michigan Municipal League annual membership dues. I'm asking for a motion to approve the annual membership dues for the MML in the total of $8,800 with the account listed there.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you. And then Debbie, if you don't mind taking this one from the Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber, we've got the Taste of Downriver event here.
Thank you. The Southern Wayne County Regional Chamber is asking for permission to hold the Taste of Downriver in the city of Trenton on Tuesday, August 12th. This would be from 6 to 9 p.m., promoting local eateries, including food sampling, tasting, and entertainment in downtown Trenton. They're also asking for the temporary road closure of St. Joseph Street from West Jefferson to 3rd Street.
Support, or so moved.
It has been moved and supported. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered. Thank you. We've got a few items here. First, 4 actually, and I'll have Jill take the first one too. First up being the resolution authorizing the 2025 unlimited tax general obligation bonds. So, Ms. Cooper.
Yes. So before you is the resolution authorizing issuance of the 2025 unlimited tax general obligation bonds. The resolution authorizes the issuance of the voter-approved bonds in the amount not to exceed $43,500,000 and was prepared based on the bond specifications provided by Benzinski and Company and the requirements of the revised Municipal Finance Act 34 of PA 2001. The legal security for the bonds will be an unlimited tax pledge for the city, and the bonds will be payable from an annual debt levy. The bonds will be sold pursuant to a competitive public bid sale. So just looking for a motion to approve Resolution 2025-10, authorizing the 2025 unlimited tax general obligation bonds.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered. Thank you. All right, next item we've got for you here, the budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, running through June 30th, 2026.
All right, so Budget Resolution 2025-11 proposes a millage rate of 27.3969 mils, covering the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026. The Board of Review completed its review of the assessment roll on March 21st, 2025. After the adoption of the budget, the clerk shall certify to the assessor 18.4084 mils on evaluation of $807,470,677 to be levied by general ad valorem tax upon all real and personal property for municipal operations. 2.3846 mils for the refuse collection and disposal, 3.5195 mils for the Act 345 pension system, and 4.3811 mils for the operation of the library, and a tentative 2.6463 mils for the new 2025 unlimited tax general obligation bond that is looking to be sold at the end of May. So the city's general fund has a budget of $26,457,214, and then the breakdown of the required budgets by fund is listed in the budget resolution. So I am looking to approve the general operating budget and other required budgets of debt and operations pertaining to the City of Trenton for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Just want to say thank you again, Jill. Thank you to the department heads for all your work on this. And then thank you to Mayor Pro Tem Benedetti for making it a very seamless process for everyone too. So,
Very seamless, yes.
all right. So it is unanimously so ordered. And then next one we have for you is millage and tax rate beginning July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026.
All right, so the tax resolution 2025-12 basically states the same exact thing that I just read with the millage breakdown. If you need me to repeat it for the record, I can. Otherwise, I'm looking to approve the millage rate at 27.3969 mils covering the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? And again, just I know I mentioned it during my presentation, but just to let folks know that outside of the citizen passed bond, yeah, it is no change in the millage rate from this budget. So good news there. And then lastly, seeing any further discussion? Unanimously so ordered there. And then lastly, we'll do the water and sewer rates effective July 1st, 2025.
Yep, so the Water and Sewer Rate Resolution 2025-13, the current rates and charges for water and sewage indicate a need for an adjustment to meet the operating and maintenance costs of our system. An increase of 82 cents per thousand gallons is being recommended, resulting in total overall water and sewage rates as follows. Water is $7.19 per thousand gallons, sewer $7.51 per thousand gallons, for a total of $14.70 per thousand gallons.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jill. Appreciate it. All right, next up, Kevin Sargent from DPW here. The approval of Phase 2 for the DPW storage building.
Thank you, Mayor. The building trades such as electrical, mechanical, plumbing, and concrete flat work have been competitively bid on BidNet by the JS VIG company for Phase 2 of the DPW storage facility. The bid tabulations and project schedule are attached for your review. The bids came back favorable, and we are under the initial budget. Therefore, based on the review of the bids, I am requesting authorization for JS VIG to issue the remaining subcontracts for Phase 2 in the amount of $671,019, which includes $57,829 in construction contingencies. This project will be funded from the Fire, Police, and Municipal Buildings Bond.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered. Thank you,
Thank
Kevin.
you.
All right, next up from our DDA director, Angelia Pusino, we've got the acceptance of the Michigan Arts and Culture Council grant for up to $15,000.
Yep, so I have exciting news. The City of Trenton was chosen for the Michigan Arts and Cultural Council grant for up to $15,000 for the city-owned Trenton Village Theater for HVAC improvements. Just a little background about this grant. We originally applied back in June 2024. Unfortunately, didn't make the first round, and one of the units we originally applied to broke down and had to be repaired. But just recently, we were notified by the MACC that we made the second round for about $15,000 to at least replace the last of the 20-year-old HVAC unit. The grant is for up to $15,000, though we got 3 additional quotes, and the best was Flow Air Heating and Cooling, which was a little bit lower. The grant requires a 25% match, so if we, for some reason, the contractor sees some other problems that need to be fixed and we need to use the $15,000, it'd be a little bit, almost a little less than $4,000 match, but I expect that to be a lot lower. The match will come from the building maintenance account. And so today I'm asking for the City Council and the Mayor to approve the grant agreement for the Michigan Arts and Cultural Council grant for up to $15,000 with the 25% match.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angela. All right, next up, City Librarian, Ms. Jensen. We've got the Pollinator Meadow contract with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services.
Yes, so I'm very excited to be back again before you with this contract with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to have the pollinator meadow between the library and the Frank Poet Drain. If you remember back in November, we had a presentation by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service about this. So before you, we have the contract that will have a cost to the city not to exceed $12,000. And, I'm sorry, $1,200. It's even better. Which will be supplemented with volunteer work and donations. And if you had any questions about the pollinator garden, I can answer those now. Otherwise, Mayor Rizepper will be signing the contract, but I hope.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Thank you.
Donna. All right, Madam Clerk, did we have any late items?
No, we do not.
Okay, I'll turn it over to our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Benedetti, for our disbursements and statements, and then our reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the authorized disbursements April 21st, 2025, in the amount of $524,600, April 21st, 2025, $524,688.73.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered.
Receive and place on file the following reports Fiscal summary, March 31st, 2025. Schedule investment on hands and cash on hand, March 31st, 2025. Historical Commission minutes, March 10th, 2025. Fire and Police Pension Board minutes, February 19th, 2025. Recreation Commission minutes, March 18th, 2025. Retiree Healthcare Benefits Plan Board minutes, January 15th, 2025. Police Department monthly report, March of 2025.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered. Thank you very much, Councilman. We'll go to other council business now here, and I don't have anything tonight. So to get started, we will go to Councilman Kabawatan.
Oh, thank you, Mayor. I just, again, I want to echo, your comments earlier, Mayor. Great job by administration, by department heads, as always. It's tough to balance a budget and make all the right moves and still deliver service. So great job by everybody that was involved in that process, and really, my hat's off to all of you. Other than that, Mayor, I'm just happy to be here tonight. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't want to repeat the same thing that Scott just repeated, but you are very appreciative. I'm very proud, and you did an amazing job, all of the department heads. Thank you so much. Really appreciate all your work. And then I'd also like to say that we made the national news for the egg drop in for Elizabeth Park. So I watched that. I believe it was NBC National News, so that was really great to see all the kids having a great time and everything. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Buncrooks.
Yeah, just two things. Great job again on the budget. I hate to sound repetitive, but you guys did a great job, and it was seamless, and that's the good thing. And it seems like we have a little bit more money to spend now that the bond passed. So it was a little bit easier to take it all in. The next thing was, Dora said that we made the national news. Well, we made local Channel 4 news too, which I called you, Mayor, about, because that Trenton Theater, that Village Theater, is still the main thing in this downtown. It's a jewel of this community. It's worth every penny that Dr. Jackson and his DIPAC group have put into that theater. It's something that we just need to have and bring so much culture and art to the community. And Channel 4 News did a fabulous piece, I don't know if anybody saw it, on how that is a jewel of the this community. And they have been here before, and they really recognized it. And one of their anchormen were in the show, Joseph, and did a guest spot on Joseph. And the Technicolor Dreamcoat. I didn't get to go, so it's sold out. Everything's sold out as usual. Maybe Dr. Jackson could have found a seat for me somewhere, maybe. But I didn't bother him. So I just want to let everybody know that how great that spot was to bring light to Trenton on Channel 4 News the other day. I was shocked when I was just sitting there. I didn't expect to see it, but it was really cool. So I just hope we keep moving forward with that theater. There's a big fundraiser right now to, keep moving forward and doing improvements in that theater. That theater still is a Trenton City building, and all the hard work and efforts by DIPAC have kept that theater going, but we need to keep putting money in towards that. And I'm really, really, hate to sound long-winded on this, but it's a big, big push to get people to donate to that theater and just, keep thinking that is a jewel of the community that's has tireless effort on what goes on there. So please consider a donation to the Trenton Theater for the seats, especially right now that the fundraisers are for. So I just thank you. That's all really I had to say tonight.
Yep, great.
Yep.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. That's great. And we've got some irons in the fire there as well, too.
I know we do, and we're
hopefully some
moving
good
forward.
solutions, So.
Yeah, I'm proud of that.
Thank you. All right. Councilman Benedetti.
Well, yeah, and I am going to repeat it, but first I want to start with the residents again. I want to thank them because, like I said the other night, if they had not passed this bond proposal, we would have had a much different budget because there are things that needed to be fixed, and we had to find the money. So, as someone used to say, kicking a can down the road, we're not doing it anymore. We finally got it done. We'll get it going, and I hope in about 3 or 4 years, the residents will look and go, man, what a great job the city has done with this stuff. And the presentation tonight, it'd be great to see part of that come to life down there. I know you and the administration have been working with DT on some other things along the riverfront with this going on, and then redeveloping it, and I think it'll be great once it starts moving and get things done. But, yeah, and I'd like to thank the council for making the budget process so easy. We didn't sit and talk about $25 and $35. I remember those days. I sat on that side then. And I appreciate you guys putting your trust in the mayor, the department heads, and Dean. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman.
That's it.
Councilwoman Hornbeck?
Just wanted to comment on all the positive things that came out of this meeting tonight. I feel like every presentation had a little bit more sunshine for Trenton. We have the Taste of Downriver coming here. Pollinator Garden, I'm very excited about. Obviously, passing a clean, balanced budget is huge for the city, along with our bond and all the exciting things that are coming, and the IPAC getting recognized. I just hope our residents are able to see all the things that we have to offer and how we're making it work with less people, but we're still providing the same level of service. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. Councilman Perugia.
Yes, this is obviously going to be a little bit of a broken record, but I'm going to reiterate, just like Rick did, that thank you to the residents of the city for passing that bond proposal. It obviously helps the city in more ways than one. And also, this might be a surprise, I agree with Timber, that DIPAC is really influential to children. My daughters were part of it. And she was a Gypsy Rose winner. And, no, my wife and I are going to commit to a seat, just to let you know.
Great.
You get your name on the back of it. Everybody wants their name on the back of the seat, right?
Right.
Just as long as you don't put your name on the seat that I buy. So other than that, Mayor, I have nothing. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilman. That's great. Go to our other elected officials now. Madam Clerk, do you have anything?
I'll just mention that our next regular council meeting will be on Monday, May 12th at 7 p.m.
Thank you. Madam Assessor, do you have anything? All right, Mr. Treasurer. Oh, there he is. Knew he was around somewhere here. Mr.
right.
Treasurer.
I moved around. I find a moving target is a little harder to hit, right? It's supposed to be a joke. Anyways, apparently not.
Well, we're serious. I don't know about that.
I just reminded with all my friends here, some of the Rotarians left early because they were vitally interested in the presentation by DCC, and that was pretty good. Just want to bring you up to date on a couple things. First of all, just a shout out to a friend of some of ours, Tom Boritsky. Remember the golden year of Trenton back in '88, '89. When were you elected, Tom Boritsky? When you were 12. Anyways, Tom Boritsky's in the audience, so he's a friend of mine. I was his mayor pro tem at the time, and I think that's why things ran so well. Anyways,
Modest, too.
I'm sorry. So that was also a joke, too. Anyways, just a reminder. Now, this is serious stuff. This is the business development grant that we had talked about a couple weeks ago, and this is up to 5 grants of $2,500 to $5,000 each. It's available to Trenton businesses. Please do your best, especially council, do your best to talk it up with the businesses. I think in talking with Angelia that we've got no response. No response. So that means that things are so good that they need no money to help improve their business. Or it means that we haven't done our job in getting the word out. So Angelia suggested, and I agree with her, is that we got to make a more of a personal appeal, and that's usually a one-on-one kind of thing, or sending out emails and address and so forth. But it also starts with letting you all know that there is an opportunity here. It's not the most money in the world, but by golly, I was in business for almost 40 years, and you know, a couple $1,000, $4,000 to improve a certain segment of my business would have come in handy. So we just got to let people know. Okay. Any questions?
Anyone have anything?
But thanks for laughing at the right time.
Yeah, plenty more where that came from. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it.
We're saving it for next meeting.
All right. Any of our department heads have anything tonight? Not everyone at once. All right. We'll go to public comment then. Anyone wishing to speak would ask that you begin with your name and address. Please direct all questions through me, and please limit your comments to 5 minutes. We'll go to anyone in person first, and then those on the Zoom. We'll get started from there. So, if you want to head to the podium, sir, go ahead.
My name is James Kent McKellar. I live at 4051 Norwood Drive. And I hope I'm asking a suitable question for the forum here. We're interested in whatever's going to be happening on Fort Street there with the railroad. Is information going to be, is that?
The railroad tracks on 4th Street?
Yeah.
So, if what I'm thinking you're talking about is correct, so it was a grant. I'm trying to think of it. It was a few months back now that there was a grant from the federal government that was announced that would be getting there, but it's frankly 5-6 years off.
Okay.
To be generous, probably. They have a couple years of studies they've got to do. They have to do all the update the design work. They'll have a bunch of community forums and things like
Okay.
that they told us about. So as we get that information, we'll certainly do what we can to put it out there too. But yeah, at this point, I think it's a couple years off before they even start those types of
And
meetings.
I'm not
so.
surprised. Thank you. Same question for the overpass, the viaduct. Is that?
On West Road?
Yeah.
So we have not gotten a definitive word on when that will be actually undergo replacement that it needs.
It's a replacement.
Yep, so that's what we know is what will be coming. We're just waiting to get make sure that there's funding for it, frankly, is what it
Last
comes
question,
down to.
thank you.
No, of course.
We're a little, I live at basically Van Horn and Ford. We're interested, let's put it that way, in if there's some kind of information about hazards from the battery farm.
Okay.
Were there to be a disastrous accident.
Sure.
And is that, I guess fumes and
So
smoke and
yeah,
that type of
actually,
thing?
this was also probably, it was maybe a month or so ago, and I wish I had a specific time to reference it, but the Detroit News did an article about specifically that, and Chief Anderson, our fire chief, did a really good job talking about exactly like the communication they've had with DTE
Okay.
on how all that works. Obviously, it's new-ish technology, but it is different than a lot of the kind of bigger national headlines that you've seen about things going awry. While it sounds similar of battery technology, it is still fundamentally different. I'm not an engineer and far from it, but it is very much on our radar that DTE is taking it very seriously. Our department's taking it seriously, but as it stands right now, I feel like we're in, knock on wood, good spot too, but they've expressed, frankly, that there was probably more worry over coal ash fire than there would be something
Sure.
related to the batteries, the storage there.
And would I ultimately follow up with the fire chief? Is that?
We could do that too if it's for any information here too. If you might have some after, Keith, that'd be great.
Thank you. And I enjoy living in Trenton and have for 47
course.
years or so. So
We appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
So, thank you. If you ever have any other questions, feel free to let us know. So
All right.
happy
Is
to help.
this- Was this appropriate?
Absolutely. Yeah. Hey, that's what we're here for. Thank you for coming, sir. All right. Let's turn that off. Any other public comment? Let's see. Not seeing any hands on Zoom. We'll entertain a motion
moved.
to adjourn.
Support.
It's 7:58 p.m. It's moved and supported. See you all in a couple weeks.
Re-